So the 4.6 second half banners have just launched earlier today. And for those of you who do not know, Wanderer and Baizhu are both headlining the second half of Genshin Impact 4.6 together with Layla, Farazan, and Beidou. And I think today in particular, I really want to talk about Baizhu. In my opinion, I'm not going to talk about Wanderer. In my opinion, hyper carries are good, but it really depends on your playstyle kind of thing. So I really want to talk about Baizhu today because I think that Baizhu is a character that has been unfairly rated by the community. I think that he's a lot better than he is, and I think that depending on the way you play the game and your favorite team comps, you may want to consider Baizhu as a pickup, right? I think that he does bring great value to your team. He has some pretty great strengths. We also want to bring up some of his weaknesses, especially one that I think is his biggest con as a character. But yeah, let's get this video started on that. Let's talk about it. Before we continue, if you like this video, don't forget to thumbs up, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Do also know that I stream live on Twitch. Link is down in the description below. So yeah, let's get it started. So in its entirety, what is Baizhu? Baizhu is a 5-star Dendro Catalyst user. He is mainly played as a support. He can be an on-field driver, right? But mainly he is HP scaling, and a lot of his kit helps with healing. And I think that's maybe one of the points that people really like overlooked him, because I think that healing has a little bit of I won't say downside, but like healers have a bad rep in Genshin Impact, where you need to do more than healing in order for you to succeed, right? I think that was the case until like 4.2 when Furina came out, because Furina's kit basically, to not go too much into it, you kind of need healing with Furina to get the max benefit from her ultimate. And so when you look at Baizhu, right? Baizhu as a healer, he does do things other than healing. Obviously, he does, as a Dendro character, he does have decent Dendro application, right? His basic attack, due to him being Catalyst, his basic attacks are all Dendro. His special, the Gossamer Sprite that comes out when you use his skill, it does Dendro damage as well. It applies Dendro, and it then comes back and does a team-wide healing based on your HP. And I think that's where his value really shines in team-wide healing. I think that, in my opinion, I prefer team-wide healing over single target healing for the due fact that it's more comfortable for your team, right? You don't have to have the person on field and once everyone's attacking the guy kind of thing. And so I really appreciate team-wide healing that Baizhu gives. And then his ultimate, right? His burst basically creates this seamless shield, which absorbs damage based on his HP. Admittedly, not the best shield in the game, right? It's not like Zhongli or Layla or even like Diona's shield kind of thing. But this shield has an additional property. This shield will attack. Well, okay, this shield can heal your active character and also attack enemies through the spirit veins. All right, and this attack happens on either of these two conditions. First, every 2.5 seconds, you get a new shield. That's when the attacks and heals. And the second is when the shield breaks, right? So the enemy hits you and your shield breaks, then that's where you get that's the other time that your single shield can activate, right? And so that really helps out a lot for the on-field character. And at the same time, right? So that seamless shield, when it breaks, it gives this thing called the Year of Verdant Favor effect. Basically, for every 1000 HP above, up to 50k, so that's 50 points, right? It increases your Burning Bloom, Hyper Bloom, and Burgeon damage by 2%, which means at max HP, that is 100%. There's a 100% boost. And then for Aggravate and Spread, it's 0.8 per 1000. So at max, that is 40%. And so I think that that's pretty good. That definitely buffs up your main on-fielder for those reactions. So like say if you're playing like a Sino team, you know, it definitely helps Sinos aggravate damage, or even some of the Hyperloom that is proccing. It helps with Al Haytham, it helps maybe even with Nahida, Nilu Bloom, like Burgeon T, sorry, this is recorded at 3 a.m. So if I blur out, it's because it's a bit late. But yeah, like even your Burgeon damage gets buffed, your Hyper Bloom gets buffed, and I think that all in all he's pretty solid. Like I think one of his issues with his skill and his ultimate is that they don't really have a lot of dendro application. But because he is catalyst user, he's able to drive the team with basic attacks, right? And I think that's one benefit of him. And I think that all in all, I think he's a pretty decent character, right? You can play him, as I mentioned, in all the dendro reactions, right? Bloom teams, even Nilo Bloom teams, because he's killed the HP, he's able to take the recoil damage from Bloom and Burgeon teams in particular pretty well if it's an on-fielder. And like I said, teamwork healing does help in a pinch if anything goes wrong. And then obviously he definitely helps a lot in the sustained department of the team for like even your Hyper Bloom, your Aggravate and Spread teams. So they're able to focus your other characters on like offensive stats, like your DPS or even like your sub DPSs. So I think it helps alleviate that quite a bit. Like I say, and I think one of the things is that he definitely is a great dendro sustainer. He has decent enough application that is worthy of an inclusion in every team. That being said, I think Baizhu has one very big weakness. No, I'm not going to call it weakness, sorry. He has a very, very big con. He's not Nahida. I think, undebatably, Nahida is the best dendro character in the game, especially in the sub DPS support category. She has amazing dendro application. She helps out a lot in let me leave this, right? She gives elemental mastery based on her own EM, and I think that she definitely does a lot for the team and for your roster in general, right? Because like I said, her skill is insane. Her ultimate, if you consider this as well, you are able to give EM to everyone. Baizhu does that, but he only gives 80 EM on his C4. So like you have to pull more copies of him. And she also buffs this, all the three reactions and stuff. And so I think that the fact that both are 5-star, both are dendro, and both are catalysts, they're always going to be compared to each other. But here's the thing. Sorry, not here. Here's the thing. Wrong one. Here's the thing. Right? There are times where you maybe want a little bit more sustain. Maybe that's where Baizhu comes in. So both perform very similarly, but Baizhu is the sustainer, while Nahida is the amplifier. She's the one that buffs your team. So and I'm not saying that Baizhu doesn't do that, but obviously Baizhu doesn't buff it as much as Nahida, right? And that's why I think maybe one reason why he was overlooked, because coming 4 patches after Nahida maybe didn't do well for his market share in the dendro category. But I think that in the end both perform different roles enough that to justify that he on his own merit can be noteworthy enough. I'm not going to say like he's a top 5 must pull character. I think that if you play primarily Nilo Bloom, if you play Burgeon, and you don't have enough sustain, he is the void he is the void that needs to be filled, right? He's the person that can fill out that void for sustain in team comps that need a lot of sustaining. But if let's say if you are playing like Cookie Shinobu as a sustainer in Hyper Bloom, if you are playing if you're using Kokomi as your sustainer in Nilo Bloom teams, if you are using in this or even in Burgeon teams, right? Then maybe he's not for you. Right? Maybe you're better off pulling for Nahida that can bring that damage to a higher level. But here's the thing, right? He can also work with Nahida, right? Because Nahida has so much amplifying buffs that she can amplify Baizhu, and then Baizhu can stick with sustaining and survivability. So in the end, the main thing you need to consider is, do you need survivability? Do you need survivability with dendro application? Yes, I know that Yayo exists, but Yayo exists more in a solo capacity, while his healing, especially on his skill, is team wide. And I think that that's something that you may also want to consider. I don't want to say like should you pull for Nahida teams, not for Nahida, for Furina teams, because Jean exists. And if you have lost a 50-50 to Jean, maybe she is the one that you want instead. But I think all in all, Baizhu can be a consideration if you really want both the dendro application and the healing and the sustain at the same time. I don't really talk about his team comps that much. I just like to say that if depending on which team you play him in, he has different weapons that he can use. For a supportive build, he can use obviously Trailing Tails as his 3-star. He can use Favonius or Sacrificial Fragments. For his 5-star, he has decent options. Any EM based weapon like Nahida Signature. Not this one, sorry. The Lost Press, pretty good. Mappa Mare, pretty good. And like I said, like Sacrifice, pretty good as well. Right, Sacrifice is EM scaling. Also allows you to scale twice, which can help out in the pinch. And so I think that, and even the Wandering Even Star can be pretty good as well. Depending on your team comp. I think that he has that 5-star, which is signature. I think it's pretty garbage. Don't pull for him. And I want to mention to the supports, like you can use like even Prototype Amber for healing. And so like I think he definitely performs very, very well if you're using it in the right team comp. Like I said, the main thing holding Baizhu back is Nahida. Because of the presence of Nahida, every dendro character is judged based on her, and ultimately if you were to choose one dendro unit, you choose Nahida. But depending on your team comp, you may want to choose Baizhu if you need the sustain with the dendro application. And I think that's where I would say don't overlook him. He is still a good unit. It's just that he's in an unfortunate circumstance that he had to come 4 patches after Nahida. He is the same rarity as Nahida, the same element as Nahida, just the same weapon as Nahida. And I think that but I think if you overlook that, right, he is still a great unit to pull. And if you do pull for him, do let me know, because I don't have him. I don't spend. But I mean, like I said, right? If you like his playstyle, and if you feel like he fills the void for your team, do go for him. Oh my gosh. Okay, after this video, I'm going to sleep, guys. Do pull for him. I hope that if you pull for him, you enjoy him, and you know, any dendro related team comps, he shines, especially if you need the sustain. I'll go to bed. I really appreciate you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry if I get sloppy, because I need to stop recording videos at 3 a.m. If you like this video, once again, like, subscribe, share, comment. I stream live on Twitch. Check out the link at the bottom. And I'll see you guys next time. Good night. and bye bye.